All right, folks, let's get into the meat of the subject because we only have 1 hour. Today, or in this hour, we're going to identify the limiting emotions and beliefs that we might have. No, bear in mind that 1 hour is not enough. It sure is not enough to identify my limiting beliefs in 1 hour. But I'll give you a direction, and that direction will show you how to work on yourself. So let's talk about the primary emotions. We have 7 primary emotions: fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom. 7 primary emotions. Anxiety, for example, is a cousin of fear, but these are the basic limiting emotions: fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So these limiting emotions are like children. They're actually our inner child. So I want to say this: emotions are explosions of misunderstanding. Okay, feelings and emotions are not the same. I wrote a little book. It's on my website for free. You can check it. My real name is Jean-Marc. That's why it's written over there, Jean-Marc. It's a French name, but my real name is, they call me Marc. So if you want to check my website, it's marcmallat.com. You can download the book for free. It's called Focused, Fearless, and Aware, just if you're interested. So these emotions are explosions of misunderstanding, and they are our children. I compare the emotions to feelings in contrast with feelings. Feelings are kind, gentle whispers from our higher self. If you believe in your higher self, or as a shamanic healer, I talk a lot about spirits and the spirit world, but we don't have to do that today. There are many ways of identifying our limiting emotions and our beliefs and our attachments. So I will repeat myself as a teacher does a couple of times, because repetition is the mother of learning. You probably already know this, but I don't know you, so I'm going to repeat again and again. Fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom are the emotions that cause frustration and depression. So you have the primary emotions, which I just mentioned. Let's suppose we have a fear of dying, or fear of losing love, or a fear of suffering. Now that fear inside of us will cause us to do many things. Usually people distract. So let's say I have a fear of dying, or a fear of losing a friend, or losing love. So I go to the kitchen, I open up the fridge, and I eat a lot. It's called a distractor. So if I distract by eating a whole chicken, is that going to help me get rid of my fear or transform my fear? No, right? So a lot of people distract with drugs. A lot of people distract by overeating, oversleeping, oversexing, over whatever, over working, whatever it is. These distractors are not going to heal your fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom. So what to do? This is what we're going to start to go into today. So I have the fear, I distract by overeating, I feel good for a while, and then I go back to the fear. It's like a vicious circle. I go into that vicious circle again and again for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, until I become frustrated. So now I have the fear, the anger, the guilt, the stress, the sadness, loneliness, and boredom, whatever it is. And now I have the frustration on top of that. So now I have fear and frustration. The fear and the frustration is going to push me to overeat. So now instead of eating one chicken, I have a chicken, a hamburger, and a Mars Snickers bar, and a milkshake, whatever. Now what happens? I probably will feel good for a little while, and then I'm going to go back to the fear. Vicious circle, frustration, depression. So we have the primary emotions. The secondary emotion is frustration, and the tertiary emotion is depression. Now, in general, what happens when you're depressed? Usually, they go to the psychiatrist and they take some type of antidepressant like Cipralex, Cipram, Effexor. You might be familiar with that. What does that do? It represses the symptoms. So you feel good, but you're like a zombie walking around and you're not really living. Long term, I'm talking. So these primary emotions take you to frustration. Frustration takes you to depression. And a lot of people who are depressed are on what? Antidepressants. It's not necessary. Even if you're clinically depressed and you can't get out of bed, maybe there's a role for antidepressants for a while, but not for too long. So this is what I want to talk to you about. After you get into that depression mode, the weakest link cracks. So what does that mean? Well, you might have a low back pain, you might have bruxism, you might get sick mentally or physically. Something's gonna crack, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual. All this because of the excess of fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom. Okay, are you with me so far? All right.
Yep.
All right, great. So just keep in mind that when you have primary emotions, I'm not talking about a little bit of fear that just passed by, you know, took you 5 minutes to get over it. I'm talking about deep-rooted fear. Now, most people know their fears, but we're going to identify, because that's what we're going to do today. And the next time, I think it's on the 17th, I'm going to show you how to heal them, how to transform them. But for now, think of those primary emotions, fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom, as your inner child or children, as explosions of misunderstanding, because that's exactly what they are. Okay? So, having said that, feelings like peace, strength, happiness, joy, love, nobility, all these are feelings. This is a higher vibration, a higher frequency. Now, these feelings are from your higher self. And the primary emotions are from your inner child. We're going to have eventually the higher self, or the full potential self, if you don't want a spiritual word, the full potential self, your consciousness, is going to heal your inner child. So you're going to heal your emotions with your feelings, the high frequency feelings, love and peace and joy, etc. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Andrea, all right. So again, there are many ways to do this. If you know your spirit guides, if you're connected to your higher self, or you pray to an ascended master like Buddha or Jesus, or the Prophet Muhammad, whoever you're connecting with can actually help you with this. And this is shamanism. Again, as a shamanic healer, and by the way, I'm giving that course on the 24th and 25th, a little bit of advertisement here. But what I'm saying is there are different ways to do it. Now, the traditional way is to write down, okay, fear, anger, guilt, and then to write down my attachments. What are attachments, by the way? Attachments are usually based on fear. I'll give you some examples if you want to write them down. So, a need for attention. A lot of people have a need for attention, right? Because they didn't get it when they were younger, perhaps. When I say a need for attention, it's based on fear, right? So I have a need, I have to get that attention or else I'm not gonna feel good. A need for control. How many people want to control their partners, their spouse, the money, or the situation, or in their businesses, they want to control everybody. I know they think it's the right thing to do, but it's actually not, because when you think you want to control somebody, that means you don't have control. So it's a need. Uh-oh. The electricity just went out, so let's see what happens here.
We can still hear you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Keep on talking.
All right. So
Yeah,
we
we
have a
can.
need for control, which is based on fear. Okay, because when you're in control, you don't have a need for control, right? When you have the need for control, that means you're not in control. So you have a need for security, financial security, emotional security, whatever it may be. A need for oneness. I want to be part of a group, part of whatever group or association. A need for uniqueness. So I'm special, you know, and like nobody else is special, but of course we're all special. When you have that need based on fear, what are you going to attract? More fear. Another attachment would be perfectionism. How many of you are perfectionists? You have to do it perfectly or else you'll lose it, right? It's based on fear. Another attachment would be victimhood. I know people, they're always playing the victim no matter what. No matter how well they are, how well they do, and how good they are, they're always playing the victim or the perpetrator. I have also acquaintances, they're always saying what they did to other people and how strong they are. They play this perpetrator game. This is also an attachment. And you have many attachments. Okay. We also have limiting beliefs about money, relationships, love, life, religion, spirituality. We cannot do everything today, but these are where your traumas are coming from. Whether it's from childhood, from mother or father, or the guilt trip from religion, excuse me. But, you know, religion is based on spirituality. The essence of religion is spirituality. Now, in general, in the Christian religion, we have a little bit of guilt. The Jewish also, and you know, I'm just saying this because I want you to think about it. You probably know this. Now, let me show you how to identify other limiting beliefs and emotions and attachments. All attachments are limiting, but how to identify them for those who want to find out more about the emotions that they have. Now, go ahead and write on a piece of paper, for example, what you fear the most. Keep it to yourselves. You don't have to tell me about it. But usually people have a fear of loss, a fear of losing love, a fear of dying, or mostly fear of suffering. You know, a lot of people have also guilt. Fear, anger, and guilt come together. It's called the devil's triangle. Fear, anger, and guilt. Okay? So you have fear, that means you usually have anger and guilt. Now, guilt has no place in spirituality, neither does fear, and neither does anger. All right? But this is another course. So how would you identify, anybody, how would you identify your limiting emotions or your limiting beliefs? What would you usually do? Anybody?
Mark, could we have the question? Could you frame it in another way? Because
Yes.
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So usually we know our traumas. We know, oh, I have a fear of this, or I'm usually feeling guilty very easily. People usually know that, but there's a lot more. The excuse me. The biggest blockage is fear. Obviously, the opposite of love is fear. Either you live in love or you live in fear, right? There is no other way. It's either love or fear. Most of us have fears. Now, how do you find out about the fears that are undetected that you don't know about?
You observe questions.
Sorry?
Asking yourself questions and observing which you're like more reluctant to be angry, or like you don't want to lose maybe.
Sure.
Or what makes you react? Because I think it's a matter of you reacting, because love should be like very peaceful, but when it starts, when there's a feeling that starts to stir something in you, then it's probably that's what you have to dig deeper and find out. What is it?
Yeah. So when you react, that's your inner child that's reacting. It's not your consciousness. It's not your higher self or full potential self. It's your inner child. So when you react, you know, if you look for it, you ponder the question, why am I so angry? you'll find out I'm angry because he or she did not give me attention, or because she made me feel unloved. But that's your issue, it's not their issue, right? I cannot make you angry if you don't have anger in you. I cannot make you feel unloved if you don't love yourself. If you do not love yourself, I can make you feel unloved. But if you love yourself, it's very difficult for me to make you feel unloved, right? If you love yourself. Ponder the question. I've pondered these questions for more than 30 years. I'm coming from far.
But Mark, then what's the point of a relationship altogether? Like, what's the point of love altogether?
Very good.
I mean,
the point of a relationship, in my opinion, is to trigger each other so we transcend the triggers. It's actually not to go into a relationship to just, I'll give you love and you give me love. No, that's not it. It's a lot more than that. It's for you to trigger that person to trigger you, for you to grow together and manifest your spirituality in this duality. That's the point of relationships. Relationships are hard. Marriage is hard. I've tried it once, the second time it worked, but it's hard. Who's married? You must be smiling. Sure. So that's the point of relationships. It's for you to remember who you are, remember with God, and remember that you're a spiritual being first and foremost in order to manifest your divinity here on earth. That's why we're in relationships. Okay, now the thing is, most people don't go into relationships for that. They go into relationships for fun or sex or whatever they think it is, but that's actually not the right way to go about it. People go in to take something. You want to go in to give something and to transcend. So anyway, enough philosophy. I'm going to show you how you can detect and identify more of your traumas and emotions and limiting beliefs. But of course, it's going to take a little bit more than 1 hour. So we have plenty of time. We have 40 minutes. Let's get on with it. Let me show you one way to do it. So step one is to choose, let's say, fear. Out of the 7 primary emotions, let's choose fear, because fear is the biggest one. It's the most common blockage to consciousness, or the most common blockage to love. Okay? So let's say you have some fears, but you don't know all of your fears. The first step would be, I will guide you and I will ask you to repeat in your own minds, I have a fear of. Don't fill in the blanks yet. I have a fear of. Then I'll guide you to do that 3 times. So you'll say, I have a fear of. Then I'll say, okay, another time in your mind, I have a fear of. I have a fear of 3 times. And then step 2 would be to breathe fast and deep for 20 times while you're focused on that phrase. So I'll say, we'll close our eyes like this. I have a fear of. I have a fear of. I have a fear of. And now I breathe fast and deep. While I'm focused on that phrase, I have a fear of. Now, when you breathe 20 times, I usually do it 30 times, but some people cannot. It's not the Wim Hof breath, but I love Wim Hof, of course. I'm going to ask you to breathe fast and deep 20 times. And step 3 would be to block your ears, but like this. Can you see me? So I'm blocking my ears with my thumbs, but not inside, on the outside, and I'm pressing my eyes like this. Okay, there's a reason I'm doing that. If you actually do that, go, sigh like that, it'll open up your third eye. You know this, right? So anyway, the third step, you block your ears, and then you wait for the echoes. So I feel, I have a fear of, I have a fear of, I have a fear of. I breathe 20 times. I block my ears, put these fingers over my eyes, and I wait. And you wait for what? What we call echoes. Echoes are sensations, insights, images. It depends if you're very visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. Don't worry about seeing images, because most people are not visual. And when I say in the shamanic course, imagine, I do not mean visualize, I mean sense, or I mean hear, I mean sense and feeling, kinesthetic. So you close this and like this, and then you wait for the echoes. You'll get an insight. No, some people find this difficult, so I'm going to ask you to close your eyes like this and your ears after you breathe and to ponder the question. In other words, I have a fear of, and then all of a sudden you say, oh, I have a fear of men, I have a fear of commitment, I have a fear of women. You said, oh my God, I didn't know that. Well, welcome to the club. So who's ready to do this? Let me see some thumbs up here. I don't know how we do that, but okay, there's one. I can't see anybody else, but you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
So here we go. Close your eyes, please. Relax. If you want to ground, ground. If you want to clear, call in the higher power or your guides if you know who they are. If you don't, all right. Close your eyes and repeat after me in your own minds. I have a fear of, in your own mind. Okay, somebody's asking me to explain again. Just follow my guidance and it'll be clear, all right? So you have your eyes closed. I have a fear of. Ponder it. Again, I have a fear of. Again, I have a fear of, and now go into the breath. Breathe 20 times fast and deep. Go ahead. Keep your eyes closed, 6. Keep going. Okay, keep your eyes closed. Now block your ears and block your eyes and wait for an echo. Okay, so let's share a little bit. This is a tester. Who got some insights? Who got something? Who fell asleep? Okay. What'd you get, Nia?
Hello.
Yeah.
I got, yeah, I just pondered on fear of cancer and fear of disease, and I got so many things like you have the fear of choking, you have the fear. I saw war, so you have the fear of inner demons, you have the fear of demons multiplying.
All
Then
right.
I felt, yeah,
Okay. Remember, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. I'm sure you know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah, somebody asked me if we should get images. No, not necessarily. You can get sensations, images, thoughts, insights. The weirdest stuff will come out in this exercise. Okay?
I was feeling very choking, like there is less of oxygen, and it was very difficult to, like, I'm a very quite very good meditator. I meditate every day from last 4 or 5 years, but I was feeling it is so tough, difficult to close my eyes, and it was like restless and choking, a choking feeling.
Okay, so all these are considered echoes. That means there's some work to be done here. Somebody said they didn't get anything. You will eventually, I promise. That's a promise. So let's keep on trying. I felt comfortable. Good. Okay, so maybe you're comfortable with fear. I don't know, but you know better. All I'm trying to do is to show you how to identify fears that you don't know about. When I used to, go to Peru and work with shamans over there, I always got fears I didn't even know I had. The weirdest things. I won't share that with you because you'll start laughing. But the point is, we have all these weird fears. And guess what? They're usually derived from the fear of dying. And I know most of you are going to say, I'm not afraid to die. But once you have a death and rebirth in breath work or in shamanism using sacred plants or whatever it is and meditations as well, then you got to think twice about it. The more you die and have a rebirth, a psychological death and rebirth, the more you are prepared for a real death, the physical death. Of course, the soul spirit is eternal. So, but that again is another subject. So let's try this now with guilt, okay? So the phrase would be, I'm feeling guilty about. I'm feeling guilty about. Guilt now is terrible. Let me tell you why. Because when somebody's guilty of a crime, they stick them in jail. In Lebanon, they become ministers and presidents, but whatever. I'm not talking about this president, but I am saying that usually it's a little bit weird in my country. So do we have a lot of Lebanese here? Probably not. Okay, so the point is, I feel guilty because I'm going to repeat that 3 times, and I'm going to ask you to do that. Dina, she's probably Lebanese. Okay. All right, thanks. So the point is, I'm trying to show you how we identify the guilt. Guilt is a terrible feeling because when we feel guilty, we punish ourselves. We sabotage our relationships because we feel we do not deserve to have love. We do not deserve to make money and have abundance and all this and that. Because of the deep guilt we have in the subconscious. Women who have had abortions, you need to work on the guilt because there's guilt at the subconscious level. And the men who cause that also have guilt, believe it or not. So it's very subtle, sometimes subtle in English, not in Arabic. It means
I'm getting,
Sorry?
yeah, can I say it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm feeling guilty about suicide, but I never had one. Like my younger sister died because of that.
Yeah, say that again, because you had guilt because of
Suicide.
society,
Suicide.
suicide. Okay. Well, how are you feeling now? You suicidal now?
Maybe I was going through a tough time as my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I felt like its life is so tough, so bitter. So maybe I something died inside of me.
Did you overcome this?
I'm not sure if I overcome that.
Well, I really advise you to keep on going with me on this because I had a lot of death and rebirth experiences when I was young. I lived in the war, and so I know what it feels like to try and kill oneself. And believe you not, or believe you me, life is worth living. It's just about becoming connected with a higher power, whether it's you call it God or the divine creative consciousness or whatever you want to call it, Allah or whatever. That is, we're always looking for substitutes. And the truth is, there is no substitute for the spiritual connection. But that again is another subject. So let's go back to our subject. So I feel guilty because I'm going to say that 3 times. You're going to breathe 20 times and then close your eyes and ears from outside and wait for an echo. For those of you who did not get anything, I'd like you to ponder the question when you close your ears and eyes. Just ponder and think about what you feel guilty about. It's important to know what you feel guilty about. It's very important for your quality of life. All right, so those who got stuff, continue doing it that way. For the person who said, I didn't get anything, When you close your eyes and ears, ponder the question, what am I guilty about? Or what do I feel guilty of? Or I'm guilty because. Just ponder that question. Deal? So we have a deal here?
Yeah.
All right. So one more time. Close your eyes, please. Relax. Focus on your breath. Center. Balance your left side and right side. Anchor yourself to Mother Earth. Repeat after me in your own minds. I feel guilty because. I feel guilty because. I feel guilty because. Breathe 20 times. Fast and deep. Fast and deep. Close your eyes and close your ears. Feel the vibrations and wait for the echoes. Okay, Anna, what you want to do is either breathe a lot more, or what you can do is ponder the question instead of
Hello.
waiting for the echoes. Okay? So those people who did not get anything, when you breathe, you want to breathe faster and deeper, or 30 times instead of 20. Majid, also. You want to ponder the question, I feel guilty because. You will get something. You did 30, okay, Alina, that's fine. But I'm going to ask you to ponder the question instead of waiting for the echoes. Okay, some people get it when they wait for the echoes, and some people need to ponder the question. After you breathe, I'm feeling guilty, or I feel guilty because. You will get something if you're connected. The reason you're breathing is that it's going to send you into a non-ordinary state. Yeah. So Alina's saying, I know the answers before breathing. Okay, Alina, a lot of us know many reasons why we're guilty, but there's more. We need to go to a deeper layer of the subconscious or the psyche. So trust me when I say, if you breathe fast and deep and ponder the question, you will get something eventually. It's like a meditation. A meditation is asking your higher self or God, and the answer is, well, the solution. Okay, now let's talk about what Catherine is saying that she gave herself Forgiveness has many layers, my friend. Forgiveness, how many people in my clinic have come to me and say, Mark, I thought I had forgiven my mother. I thought I had forgiven my lover. I thought I had forgiven my father. I thought I had forgiven myself. The truth is you have layers and layers and layers of forgiveness. So how do you know you're forgiven? Yeah, I understand that, Zahra, I understand that forgiveness is tough. The shamans say, somebody hurts you, then tell them thank you. It's an opportunity to heal. So if somebody hurts you, you know, steals money from you, stabs you, or kidnaps you, which happened to me, you want to forgive them because it was an opportunity to go to a higher consciousness level. So I'm going to say, I don't want to be too drastic because I don't know exactly how you're thinking, but even Hitler had his role in the world. I'm not condoning what he did, but I'm saying once you forgive somebody, you have the strength to get an open space, and you're doing it for yourself, not for them. You're forgiving them for you to be free of them. Now, forgiveness again has many layers. You know, if you listen to the ascended masters or conscious people, you know, forgiveness is actually, the capacity to forgive is proportionate to your psychological health. Your capacity to forgive is proportionate to your psychological health. I was carrying other people's emotions. Okay. Yes, we do that a lot. So again, it's not necessary that you get something now, but if you practice, you know, you will get other reasons why you feel guilty, fearful, angry, etc. Okay? Now, for those people who did not get something, focus on the question when you close your eyes and ears. Focus on the question. Now, if you want to breathe 20 times, that's fine. But if you breathe for half an hour, it's going to be drama. You're going to have some drama. You like drama? Let's go for the drama. You know, I'll give you drama if you want drama. Easy to get drama. All you have to do is breathe like a crazy person, really deep and really fast, and something's going to come up. So do not be skeptical about this method because it's really effective. Any comments or questions? Nobody has a comment or question?
Your capacity to forgive is proportionate to what again?
Thank you, Catherine. Somebody said something?
I didn't get.
Yes, Stella, what did you say, Sana?
No, I didn't get the last words from what you said. Your capacity to forgive is proportionate to what again? Sorry.
To your psychological health. If you're very healthy psychologically, you forgive easily. And if you're not psychologically healthy, you can never forget, or you can never forgive. By the way, never forget, always forgive. Because when you forget, it's like, oh yeah, come and hurt me again, hurt me again. I forgot all about it, hurt me again. That's not smart. It's not conscious. So always forgive, never forget. All right?
Never forget. All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So let's go to something, let's talk a little bit about another fear, anger, guilt. It's okay to feel extremely overwhelmed during these processes. Yes, Patricia, you're feeling overwhelmed, just stay with it and observe your emotion. Let's talk about this. Good question. When you resist an emotion, when you resist fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, and boredom, what happens? What you resist persists, right? Okay. Now what you observe will disappear. Why? Because what you observe will be digested, integrated, and processed, my friends. What you observe will be digested, integrated, and processed. So Patricia or Patricia, if you're overwhelmed, just observe the emotion. Don't resist it. Stay with it. Observe it like you're observing a child going crazy. By the way, my daughter, when she was very young, she had a fit in a supermarket. She wanted chocolate and chocolate. I said no. And she had a fit. She went on the floor and went, ah, started crying. So I observed her. And what I did is I went on the floor and I went, oh, and I started crying too. She said, please, please, Dad, don't do that. You're embarrassing me. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is if I had resisted, she would have kept on crying and she would have gone crazy. But I observed her and actually did what she did and she stopped. So now she's always embarrassed to go with me somewhere. So I don't know if that was a good thing. But anyway, do not resist. Always observe with your consciousness, your higher self. Observe the emotion, observe the attachment, observe the need for control, for security, observe the need to be loved. You are loved unconditionally, whether you know it or not. Maybe not by human beings, because we're kind of disappointments when it comes to spirituality, in my opinion, but you are unconditionally, completely and totally loved, whether you know it or not. So do me a favor real fast, whenever you talk, whenever you speak, whenever you talk and speak, kind of the same thing. When you walk, when you act, always remember, remember that you are loved unconditionally, like an innocent baby is loved by a loving mother. That's just in parentheses. All right, let's talk about, let's say, fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness. Talk about sadness. We're going to do the same thing with sadness. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm making it work a little bit today. It's okay. All right, Sarah, thanks. So, sadness. I know that some of you know why you're sad, but before I go into that, let me say that, you know, death is just a transition, of course. And you can still talk to your relatives who have died energetically, and it's as real as you're talking right now. So it's just a temporary separation. Many of my friends were killed in the war, and I have people who died that I loved. It's okay, you know, I still talk to them, but maybe, you know, but crazy is good, makes you feel good. So if you want to become a little bit crazy, come and take my shamanic course on the 24th and 25th. All right. So let's go to sadness. Seriously now, let's go to sadness. So I feel sad because, please close your eyes. I feel sad because. I feel sad because. Start breathing 20 times or more. Go ahead, breathe. Deep, deep and fast. But deep is important. Some of you keep breathing. Now block your eyes and your ears. Keep breathing, some of you. For the rest of you, connect with vibes. And ponder the question, I feel sad because. And then wait a little bit. And then ask it again. I feel sad because. I feel sad because. Yes, Nufa, you can get an answer while breathing. So, okay, let's talk about this. Somebody, I think it was Puya or Pooja, sorry. I feel sad because my parents are quarantined in a different country than me. Okay. Zahra, okay, I'll answer that. So let's talk, let me answer you, Pooja. When you said, I expect a lot and I'm disappointed. Let's talk, it's very important what you just said, because a lot of people are like that. I have linked my fear with sadness. Yes, Aziz, they come together, my friend. Okay, so the thing is, people tell you expect the best and be ready for the worst. I don't buy that. What I'm going to ask you to do is focus on the best, and you will never be devastated by the worst because you're ready for the worst. Now, I want you to ponder that question, Pooja.
Okay.
Focus on the best and know that you are ready for the worst. What's the worst? The worst thing is going to kill you. They're going to kill you or they're going to torture you. You're ready for it. Now, if you don't have that type of strength, alter a love, I'm sad because people change after I love them. Okay, we'll talk about that. Hold on a second. So my point is, if you're not ready to die, that means you're not strong enough. I honestly have loved enough, had a lot of joy and pain in my life. I'm ready to die now. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm inviting Corona, no. But I'm saying that I'm not afraid of death. Death doesn't scare me because I know that after death, there's something a lot more beautiful. Why? I've tried it. Yes, I have died psychologically. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's just like any death. If you want to learn about death and the near-death experiences, read a book by Raymond Moody, M-O-O-D-Y. And he has a lot of those experiences, and I can tell you more about that. Yeah, you can inhale from the nose and out the mouth, but it doesn't really matter. You can inhale and exhale the way you want. From measure to edit, that's true. Okay. So I wanted to answer somebody else. I honestly forgot. But Pooja, please remember, focus on the best and know, spiritually know, it's a knowing that you're ready for the worst. You're stronger than you think. I don't know how strong you think you are, but you're stronger than you think. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, thank you.
Somebody else, name of author again, please. Raymond Moody, M-O-O-D-Y. There since have been a lot of books on near-death experiences, but the best way, Brian Weiss books, yeah, we had the same teacher, Brian Weiss and I, helped me so much in looking. Yes, Sarah, I love Brian Weiss. We had the same teacher, which was Jerry Kine. God bless his soul, he died now. He was my hypnotherapy teacher. So somebody said I linked fear with guilt or something like that. That's kind of normal. And again, fear, anger, and guilt come together, right? Fear, anger, and guilt. They usually come together. Now, I want to say this one more time. I think it's on the 17th. On the 17th, yes, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you on the 17th at 7 p.m. Dubai time how to heal these emotions, these children, your inner child, how to heal it with your consciousness, how to heal it with your full potential self. Okay? It's actually not that hard. It's just a matter of practice, but you have to practice. Okay? Any questions again? Because I missed a couple of questions. Please ask me again. There was one question I wanted to address. I'm sorry, I forgot it. It's, you know, too much ayahuasca in Peru will do that to you.
I think somebody asked about their sadness was from when they loved people, the people changed.
Yeah, if I do not get anything, does that mean I'm not ready to face? No, that does not mean that. So if you don't get anything now, you will eventually. So somebody said if they're loved and then they lose the love, where are you advertising your course? With Illuminations, Dina. Sorry, Sonia, say that again. Somebody said.
Sorry, I think the person said something to the effect of, in the sadness, that it was they loved people and then the people changed after they loved them. And you were going to answer that one.
Well, that's good because you don't want to be with somebody like that. So if you give love to somebody and they reject your love, There are many reasons for that, but one surest thing is I want my love to be returned to me. But again, if you're stronger than that, where can we download your book? Can you share the link? Yes, I will. Hold on a second. So what was I saying about love? No matter who it is, love everybody. Now you're too loving and too kind for real failure. The thing is, love yourself first. I want you to be in love with yourself, not narcissistic love, but love yourself as a spiritual being. If you don't love yourself, there's something wrong. Love yourself before you love other people. So if you get hurt, you love somebody, you get hurt, that means you don't love yourself enough. Yeah, so Nufa, yeah, keep on going as well. Get that answer and keep on going. You can download the book from Marc, M-A-R-C, M-A-L-L-A-T, that's my name, marcmallat.com from my website, marcmallat.com. The book is for free, you can download it. I suggest you read the first section if you like this stuff. But have fun with it, it's for free. Anything for free is probably good, right?
Mark, I have a question.
Thank you, Aziz. Yes, tell me.
In your experience, these insights that come when you explore these different emotions, do they have any common thread through to all, like the fear and the guilt and the sadness are all connected to similar events or similar, not incidents, but similar type of emotions behind them?
Well,
Because surprisingly, things that came to me are quite unrelated.
Yes.
I can't see a common thread between my guilt and sadness.
Yeah, usually there's a common thread between fear, anger, and guilt, but not with sadness. Sadness, by the way, is a very, sadness is a very profound emotion. With sadness, if you really go into sadness, you can become a lot more conscious. I'm sad about what's going on in the world, you know, obviously, but I know there's something good coming out of this. You all know this, you know. So again, the emotions can also be messages for you to act upon. But sometimes if it's too much, an excess of too much, then it's just unnecessary. But if you have, let's say a lion's gonna jump on you to eat you, well, if you have fear, that's because you need to get the hell out of there, right? So that's a message. Sorry, what's your website? Okay, okay, Victoria, it's Marc, M-A-R-C, MALLAT.com, okay? And just download the book. So emotions are messages. For example, fear means what? Fear means you need to what? Protect yourself. But some people have fears of their mother-in-law, right? Is that a normal fear? Well, if it's my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law, probably yes. But in general, you shouldn't have a fear from your mother-in-law, right? It's not normal, it's unnecessary. You have a lion that's gonna jump on you, yeah, you should have fear if you wanna live. Anger, what's anger about? Anger means what? You need to what?
You release something.
Well, if I'm angry at somebody, that means they hurt me. So I what? I have to forgive them. You cannot educate people, forget it. You're not gonna change people. You have to forgive them. Forgive the idiot, forgive the ignorant, forgive the aggressive, forgive those people who are controlling the world with 1% of 1% of the money. I'm not gonna go on, don't get me started here. You need to forget a lot or else you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna be happy. All right, so what was I talking about? Fear, anger, guilt, stress. What does stress tell you? Stress is telling you, I need to prioritize. You can't do everything. You need to put in priorities depending on your values. My family comes first before money, or is it money before my family? I know a friend who made $1 million after working his butt off for 30 years that he died of a heart attack and didn't even know his children. Why? Because he's always busy. So put your priorities. That's, if you're going to be stressed, that means you need to prioritize. Sadness, what does sadness mean? Sadness means I have lost something. I lost a loved one. I lost a love. I lost something. The truth is you need to replace it. Now let me tell you this. If you're connected to spirit, the Great Spirit, or if you're connected to consciousness, think about that. If you know that the people who have died and left you are still, you can still communicate with them easily. And I'm saying easily. Is there a reason to have loss? Yeah, maybe you miss them physically. But you can replace that loss in many ways, especially with the connection to the divine. Loneliness, what does loneliness mean? Loneliness means I need to connect. I can be around 1,000 people and feel lonely. Because you need to connect with somebody who understands you or likes you and you like them back. That's loneliness. Boredom, what does boredom mean? Boredom means I need to be stimulated mentally, physically, emotionally. And guess what? There's solutions to all of those. It's easy. How do I know? I did it. I don't know how people can get bored. I really don't know how people can get bored. If you have all these spirits to talk to and God to pray to, or your higher self, or, you know, how can you get bored?
Yeah.
You know, I don't, especially now, I know some people who are bored and they've gained kilos because they eat all day. Emotional eating.
True.
So which one do you want to do now? Let's say, by the way, why don't you identify your attachments? Are you attached? Do you have a need for attention? Do you have a need for control? Do you have a need for love? That's an interesting one. Somebody asked me if they have a need, and I'm talking need for love. Most people will say yes, my friends. The truth is, if you love yourself enough, not in the narcissistic way, then everything extra is a bonus. And if that doesn't work, if your grandmother, your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your dog don't like you, and you need that love, go to God, straight to God. Read a book called Conversations with God.
Yeah, listen to it.
So I have a need for peace. Yes, peace is the ultimate. Yogananda said, choose peace above everything. You're going too fast for me here. Great book. Yeah. Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh. Don't read it. Study it. Study it. Conversations with God is a great opening to your heart. It's a great opening to God. It's a great opening to love. Yes, peace. Peace, they say, is a higher vibration than love. So I forgot who said that, but peace is extremely important. And that's the way we want to live, in peace, right? Yogananda said, choose peace above everything. Any other questions or comments? So we're almost out of time, but I'm going to stick around for 5 more minutes if you want to ask questions. And there's a course coming up on April the 17th to heal. How can I control my wife? She's very worried. Well, you can't control anybody, Amajid. Forget about controlling, and especially your wife. It doesn't work. I tried. It doesn't work. You want to manage your wife. You don't want to control her. So let me answer one at a time. Just hold on. I think it was Majid. Majid, you cannot really manage or control. You can't control your wife, but you can manage her by showing your peace of mind and your strength, ya Majid. Show your wife. Don't talk. It's not going to help. Just show her that you're confident and you have no fear. You're fearless. Focused, fearless, and aware, my friend. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Majid. Somebody said I have a fear of marriage. What does your wife say about that? About what, Sonia? What does my wife say about what?
Sorry, hi. You made me laugh when you said about managing your wife.
Yeah, forget it. Controlling doesn't work, but she manages me too. She manages me too, so it's okay. Thank you, Penny. So that's cool. So I hope to see you on the 17th, my friends. Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. I hope to see
Thank
you on
you so much.
Thank you. That was a great session.
Thank you
Thank
so
Yep.
much, Mark.
Love it. Thank
Bye.
you.
See
Take
you,
care.
everybody.
Yeah, take care.
God
Take
bless.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay
Thanks.
safe.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.